is actually a disaster because people photocopied everything. Whether they want it or not, I will take a photocopy, take a couple of copies and all that, And that gets starts getting piled up on the desk. But you are meticulous, in taking down things from chemical abstracts, sometimes, 20, 25 lines, and very small letters you do this. And then you get totally fed up because, after all, it's not a great challenging task. Anybody could do that. But the point is that the problem is in your head and you have to look at actually what exactly is to be noted down. And then you come and then, you see every other week you go to the library and see whether these journals in which you are actually trying to, zero in the problem, publishes the work. Because it is so competitive, worldwide, people, there's a saying that by the time you actually figure out a good problem, there is every possibility that somebody else has done it. Okay. So it happens mostly in science. In social sciences, you can always beat around the bush a little bit and say that, your conclusions are different from the conclusions of somebody else and all that. And you can't be challenged so much so that in science it's a very different kind of ball game. So that is something that has drastically changed over the last, 20 years now. Most of the journals are available online. At the pick of the mouse you can get. There are journals which are free and open access journals. Chemical abstracts have been completely digitized. And chemical abstracts, mind you, started in 1990. That is more than 100 years of chemical abstracts. And volumes are disposed. It's completely digitized. American Chemical Society, one of the most important journals in the field of chemical sciences, has been completely digitized. Now you can search everything, by giving a word or an author's name or subject area or whatever you want to do. They have been completely available online. So is the possibility of abstract, especially because of the medical sciences, is completely digitized. So these days I think the students spend less time in doing the research research. It has got so they do that also because once you get everything on the tip of the mouse, and then you have programs to find out actually whether it has been done or not, and the person is not conversant with what exactly has been done by this process. The quality of work also probably suffers to a significant extent because of that. Otherwise you are forced to read all those things before you actually come to a conclusion whether it has been done or not. Now you don't have to read. You have to get search and find out whether it is done or not. If this particular thing that we are talking about is is not there in any of the things that is recorded, you take it for granted that okay, you are all right, you can do this problem. So that is how it is. And coming to teachers, the Microphone International is the whole distributor of teachers for the years. Most of the teachers that have been published particularly US universities are without microfilms. And microfilms are expensive actually because, so very popular pieces, you on first day, something like 10 to 50 dollars. You want to get popular pieces, so that's the international those things. And only very good libraries, stock copies of pieces from the US universities and European universities. That was a very difficult thing. So you really don't know. So basically you are depending upon published work that has appeared in print or seen light through journals before you actually zero in on a particular problem and see that this problem is worth investigating. And you are always afraid by the time you submit a paper and that gets printed. At least the light of the day, you are not sure whether somebody else has submitted this work elsewhere and then as published is going to be published elsewhere. So that's actually a fear that we have always had in our mind because you are all the time working on cutting edge problems and making sure that somebody else is not encroaching upon your domain or you are not encroaching on somebody else's domain. So that was a very important thing. That has all changed. If you look at the kind of knowledge that has been produced, the kind of burgeoning of knowledge, the prodigious explosion in knowledge in the last 20 years is said to be more than the cumulative knowledge that has been generated in the whole of 20th century. That is the kind of explosion that is taking place. I don't know what you do with this knowledge. This is a major problem as far as we are concerned because the amount of knowledge generated is so much so that we actually do not know how to sift it to get what you want. This is a major problem. Dissemination of knowledge is another problem. How you disseminate this knowledge. So essentially, our societies are now becoming knowledge-driven society, and if society is not going to be knowledge-driven, that society is going to be very changed. and not going to prosper. That is what the perception about knowledge societies are about. So it is important that we produce knowledge, we produce quality knowledge, and we have to disseminate knowledge in a respectful manner so that it is being, it is reaching all those people who are actually, wanting to have this knowledge. That's the major problem. That is still I don't know how far, by, okay, you have search engines, many search engines, you search for this, and you get, sometimes right information, sometimes wrong information, and you have people depending upon Wikipedia and things like that, for the kind of information, and then submit, your assignment, copy it and paste it from Wikipedia. So, there are disadvantages. But as far as PhD teams are concerned, as far as this country is concerned, we are not in the forefront of the knowledge society or knowledge community. Our thesis, I don't know whether it is in science, technology, humanities, social sciences, languages, linguistics, I'm not sure whether we are anywhere in the top, even 50%. I'm not sure. But these are the kind of initiatives which probably will propel a kind of thinking on this aspect actually. Because one of the problems that we have in this country is that, all of us know that corruption is all permeating. Everywhere there is corruption in society. The whole society fabric is corrupted so much so that very difficult to find a place where there is hardly any corruption. Whether to find an individual who is corruption free is also very difficult actually. Somewhere or other the element of corruption creeps in actually. This is one of the bane of the Indian society. So the corruption is also there in the educational field actually. People plagiarize, people lift it up. And, I have had occasions wherein, when theses were sent for evaluation, the comments came from the examiner saying that, this particular question has been lifted from my own article. Okay, which she published as well and all that. And I have to really wonder, the guy should have been very cautious. So not to give that particular teacher's name for an examiner, but he forgot about it or she forgot about it. And the thesis examiner was named in the list which has for 6. And the thesis goes to the examiner and the examiner says, look, there is a few pages of my article has been listed in this thesis and I don't want to read it anymore. I am not in favor of awarding you a PhD for this, nor do I want to look at this thesis. So this is another problem that we have actually, and even you would have read it in newspapers and other media about the recent plagiarism that is happening in the field of science. The Western world is also not an exception to this actually, but it is much less because they are far more vigilant compared to our own attitude, which is generally speaking, it's okay, what can we do, and don't make mistakes, then you cannot make the right for all time, so that cannot find out, what the student has written, we cannot cross-check on all these matters, so okay, chalta hai, So that is the kind of attitude. But in Western society, it's a little bit far more rigorous, and a person caught for plagiarism is, even the great example is Nobel Laureate, I remember the student's name, but the professor's name does not come into my mind. I don't feel Kari was who was working with this Nobel laureate, and she doctored at H. And it came up in Nature Science. There was so much of debate about it and all that. So that kind of a thing is generally, not considered as very serious, but I think we need to look at it very seriously. And also, once we deposit this thesis, this is a question that is in my mind. I don't know whether you have an answer for that, so maybe you would answer me. There is no guarantee that once this is an open access thing, actually, whether this would actually promote plagiarism. Because you could get the copy of the thesis, okay, let us say I am working on a thesis in social sciences, which are let's say people's planning in Kerala. 3 years they would have written several theses, our own university would have produced so many theses. WT college teachers who are guiding this particular field of research would have had this many theses. All this is being deposited in Shodhganga. And suppose a student, who is being guided by a particular teacher, has access to all these things, and he may take a little bit from this, nibble from one thesis and those theses and all that. And then, of course, if it's a clever chap, when he could as well, change the language of the whole thing and then say that, okay, he can actually hoodwink his teacher also, saying that, this aspect is not something that has been talked about in this thesis, and that has to be not being talked about in this thesis. So my thesis takes a comprehensive view of the entire thing, and here it is, like, look at how nice we have done this. Okay. And process patterns are, the norm as far as this country is concerned. So if you have a product which is D, which is, or let's say, a product which is, let's say, name K, and then you have so many processes starting from S to B, C, and D, E, F, G, and then you end up in K, and then I devise a process, where I reach K through some other route, A, B, B dash, C dash, E dash, and then finally I come to K, I get it. That's why this pattern procedure is all about. So I can have the same product through a different route, and then I can say that it is a very novel idea, and the qualities remain the same. And this is actually to protect the Indian interest of people falling sick and all that, whether it's another issue. But that can also, I am afraid, could happen in this kind of thing actually. So good and good, develop and then, nice pieces and all that. And there are the burgeoning private universities in this country, and the kind of deemed universities, that are supposed to be deemed, they also, they have a pressure in producing large number of PhDs and all that, so they can say, look, this year you have produced more PhDs than Kerala University has produced. Kerala University produced only 250 PhDs, we produced 400 PhDs. What does Kerala University think about us and all that? So that kind of an attitude can come, and then you produce large number of pieces, and large number of PhDs are awarded, evening classes for MTech programs and, state universities. It happens actually. Somebody goes to evening class on weekends and then MTech degree and then come and teach us in Kerala University engineering colleges. So similarly, we could have PhDs, being manufactured, manufacturing PhDs. And that is something that is a cause of worry for us, because, as I said earlier, corruption is permitted everywhere in our spheres and walks of life, so much so that what is there after all lifting a PhD? It's not like, 2G platform, one people have lifted, 130,000 crores, but now you are only lifting a PhD. So it's not something to be very seriously. After all, if it is not being caught, you are going to get a PhD. Then you go abroad, actually, you are also being caught. You go in Saudi Arabia or in Dubai or someplace where you teach in a nice college, they value Kerala University degree so much so that, if you are from Kerala University with a PhD, it's more valuable than from MD University. I hope that is MD University here. Or Candidate University for that. But it's the oldest university, this is the mother university and all that. So that is in the highest demand. That's why Kerala University degree costs, the kind of plagiarized or whatever, the degree that is being sold in the question does, it costs more. For Kerala, if you want Kerala University degree, you have to shut out at least 35,000-40,000 rupees. If you have only MG University, it is 30. If it is Calicut, it is 25. If it is Kannur, it is even less. That's what the rate is all about, if people want to have a degree. So this also is something which causes a lot of worry. But I think unless otherwise, the students and the teacher are basically honest people. Because, I was reading the Sanskrit version of Shodh. Shodh means, research and innovation. And, and it's linked with Ganga, which is the holiest and the purest and all that. So the Shodhganga is ever-flowing, flowing, as Nehru said, flowing into the ocean of future. That's what Patanjali said about Ganga. So a fantastic name is linked with the research actually. So that causes a little bit more worry for me, so that in the sense, the Ganga is already polluted. And there is no way that we can actually reduce the pollution of Ganga, because, you say, okay, it's nice, you are another holy different, you clear off all your evils and, all your Nijama Pava of evils, for all money, Ganga. So I think it's a nice word, but I think Ganga will get depolluted over a period of time. Similarly, our thesis also will be, deposited and then looked at, in a very positive pattern. This is actually, we should have a very positive outlook about it. If somebody has done this work before, am I going to be, reinventing the wheel again? Reinventing the wheel is not something that is usually done in research. So, not the prevent the reinventing of the wheel is what this is all about. And another Shodhganga is coming, again, where you deposit all your, abstract. Once your abstracts are ready, you deposit in the Shodhganga and it will slowly flow into Ganga. I think it only goes to Ganga, right? So slowly it will flow and it also gets polluted for a period of time. So, but I think it's a great venture by the UGC and in CISNET. I congratulate all these people who have whose brains worked actually behind Manoj Kumar, a scientist from center is there, and better late than never. We are also in the polluted waters of Ganga. So thank you very much, Dr. Arora, for coming over here, and I thank one and all for taking this program. But this morning we have a very program that and going to the confession from Shodhganga. So I think it's very nice, and thank you very much.
It is believed that each and every regulations and frameworks that UGC brings out are opposed by the academicians, given the fact that regulations and frameworks just generally restrict research and innovation, and that is generally opposed. But I am thankful that university has come out and signed this MoU and the guidelines. Now, it is also a fact that once it Kerala university like Kerala and leading university signs MoU, it creates some kind of a reference, and many more universities would join the initiative. And incidentally, Kerala University is the last university which has signed MoU in Kerala state, and with that, all universities in Kerala have signed MoU with the Institute of Center, and I am really thankful for that. The benefits of Shodhganga initiative can be traced back in 2005. When the then UGC chairman, Professor Arun Ligwekar, constituted a committee to work on a regulatory framework and guidelines for ECD. And this, although it was a period when he was outgoing and he was not in a position to put the regulation in place, but he thought, all right, let's have the regulation, let's have the framework, and let it be widely circulated. Somebody sometime would catch on to the idea, and then the regulation takes time. This is what happened, showing the line of action proposed in the framework that was designed in 2005. The Institute Center proposed implementation of Indian ECD in 11 plan periods, submitted to the UGC in 2008. The proposal was repeatedly brought to the notice of chairman and other functionaries of the UGC, and finally, the 2009 regulation came where submission was included into the regulation. So Shodhganga was set up in 2010 by Professor H.K. Swaraj, the then chairman UGC, on 4th December 2010, and within a period of 12 months, we had more than 1,000 pieces uploaded onto the pieces, and as of today, the repository has more than 3,500 pieces. In fact, almost 1,000 pieces are pending with us to be uploaded, and 56 universities pieces are available for 56 universities. 64 universities have already signed the MoU. Now, one of the good news is that we propose to the UGC that there should be some incentives for the university to sign for the ECD initiative. The incentives that the UGC have agreed to give are threefold. One is that the university sign MoU with us will get access to anti-plagiarism practices. So the student before submitting thesis can check his thesis, if it is plagiarized, submit a report to the supervisor, and supervisor can see what is the percentage of plagiarism, whether it is tolerable or not, and then the thesis is completed. But this is instead of the UGC wanted us to do other way, that once the thesis comes, then we just check it for plagiarism. We said instead of conducting a postmortem research or that policing is done, that was agreed, and the UGC has allocated about 7 crore rupees for this purpose. Most of it would go to the university for digitization of thesis, for setting up labs of ECD labs, where the students would be able to incorporate multimedia into thesis. It's not only textual. When it is in digital format, it should be able to enrich it with multimedia. So this is, I hope that within a couple of months we'll be able to provide you access to this anti-plagiarism package. Although I'm sure this being technology is such that can be full. So even if you have an anti-plagiarism package, what the Honorable VC was suggesting can always be full. If you change the language, because technology is designed such a way that if it is exactly costly, then only